It's your host, Rebecca, for the Reddit Randos, and I am very excited here today. I have a special guest, and I always make movements thinking people can see me, but they can't because I'm audio. Eventually, I would love to do video so people could actually see.
That'd be sweet. My
awesome and crazy moves because I just talk with my hands a lot. So today I have my special guest, Mollie.
Hello.
I've been very excited. She's one of the only other people outside of family that I've talked to about this podcast, wanting to start it up and have her be one of the more constant guest co-host that I have on here with me. You've heard a lot about my husband, and we need a break from him. So, he's great and all, but sometimes we all need a break from our other half. So, so here I have Mollie with me, and we were literally just talking. We're bringing it on here now that, we're still super early into this podcast experience, but I actually had someone reach out to me just through podcast stats, as they called it. And I have so many emails, so it's going to be oh, here we go. It's from Carlos. Carlos from Pod Status, and basically said, he's I have some cool information that might interest you. Your podcast, the Reddit Randos, has good performance in Apple Podcasts, so it's specifically an Apple Podcast ranking in the last 30 days, and this was back on May 26th, so this was just a little bit ago, but here we go. We're position 177 in the category relationships Canada, in parentheses, Canada. So specifically in Canada, we are on the record.
Nice.
In Apple Podcast. Hey, we got to start somewhere.
Hey.
So, I'm excited. So, and then I actually had, what's his name? I actually looked him up, but it's Alex Sanfilippo. I'm so sorry, Alex, if I pronounced that wrong. But I got your email about 5 days ago and wanting to listen to one of our episodes. So, hey, maybe I'll just link this one to you since I've shouted out to you. So I'm really excited to take that quiz you sent me on my email. And we'll see where it goes, where it takes us.
What was the quiz?
Well, I haven't taken it yet, but I've been a little busy. But basically he's saying that we've released probably more episodes than most people do around this time.
Okay.
With the time we started with. Yeah. So he just said that he has a free data-driven quiz that helps podcasters reach their goals and tells you which of the 12 podcaster personalities you are. They also, I think, work with coming up with interviewers or hosts for you for your, or either they kind of pick what you would be good to interview or be a guest on, or they can find guests for you for interviewers on your podcast, depending on what kind you are. So, I think it's another service for podcasters that eventually, hey, I might join.
Yeah,
if we get big on.
Yeah, would you ever consider having someone call in or video in?
I definitely
have them do a podcast episode with you.
Yeah, no, I definitely would do that. Just
good way to make new friends, right?
It is. Honestly, I've seen so many people do that, and as much of a just outgoing person I am, I do get a little shy when it goes to reaching out to people. I don't know. Honestly, put me in a room full of strangers, and I'll probably be friends with half of them within the first half an hour.
That's
just
good.
Because that's just who I am. I don't like awkwardness. I like to make sure we can, get on the same boat, making friends with my kids' moms and everything. So then I'm okay, I know who they're with, and we're all cool and everything. But no, honestly, I think eventually as we get a little bit bigger, I do want to spread out more a variety of people and not just have the same people all the time, because that's what makes it cool. And the different point of views from people, not always having the same thing from someone. We want to hear from other people, maybe more people that are actual people that are out there that, out there would be interested in listening to, or I don't know. I'm not a well-known influencer at all, by all means.
Well, let's be real here. I think a lot of people have gone down the Reddit rabbit hole on various topics, so you could really have anyone on
I honestly could have anyone. Right now, it's a closed circle. I haven't even told my family or in-laws about this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. It's only Brandy. So Brandy's the only one. And my daughter, of course, because she's old enough, she knows. And she's like, so when are you going to tell Grandma? And I'm like,
What do you think the reactions will be?
I don't know. I honestly think for how far we've gone, because we are on episode, this would be 11, I want to say. Or no, we did 11. So I think it's, this is going to be episode 12 now that we're doing right now.
Nice.
So I might have to edit that huge long pause in between when I'm looking for the stories. I've been so busy with work because, guys, I'm still working a 40-hour job, plus doing this on the side, plus having 3 kids at home with me because it's summer, there's no school, and I only have my babysitter half of the times because it's my mom. And shout out to her because she's amazing. I don't have to pay, and I feel like I should pay her for, but we're trying to get into a situation where eventually, if I stopped working, I could be at home with the kids, actually have my mom be a grandma and not a babysitter, because that's all I want for her, is to have her free time with my dad, but to also have the fun times.
So maybe
with the
when
kids.
you tell her about this podcast, soft launch her into the world of podcasts by having her listen to this specific episode.
Ooh, yeah, I'll probably tell her, like, you don't have to read everything. I don't ever say anything bad about them. I really don't. Like, do we have family drama?
I think everyone does, right?
Everyone does. And honestly, it's like, it's not even that bad of drama. We've had drama in the past, but I feel like now we're all pretty chill with everything. So I think eventually as this kid and it kicks off more, I don't know when to tell them. At first, I knew right in the beginning I didn't want them to, because all I could hear them say is, you're so busy. When do you have time to do this? Don't make it more, don't make this more challenging in your life when you're already busy enough.
But it's a hobby, right? It's something
is a hobby. Now, it's a weekly hobby that I have to stay on a strict schedule for, but it is a hobby nonetheless, and I do want to keep up with it because eventually, if this takes off, I don't know, this is just something I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Just after listening, and literally just in the last year and a half, I literally just started listening to podcasts. Like, I know that's been a huge thing for everyone, like, oh, listen to the murder and crime ones, and every woman was like, oh, we love our true crime ones, and I'm like, yeah, I was really still just listening to music while I was working, but now I think I was listening to people read other people's stories, and at first I was like, oh, I'm intrigued, like, this is interesting. And when you're like, you find out they're actually like true stories from other people, and you're just like, wow, this is wild. Like, this is so wild. And there are times like I am literally yelling while I'm listening, and I'm like, no, they should not do that. What are they thinking?
And I think too, the world of podcasts are so much more relatable. They're on a relatable level versus like listening to the radio, or because there is such a thing as having a radio personality. And I think that listening to talk show and radio hosts, they're great, but there's just something about a podcast where, there really isn't a specific,
No, I would say, like,
personality.
when I was thinking about this for a while, like, I was like, I think I'm going to do this. I look into it more. Like, I don't know how many times I researched how to start a podcast. What are good things for a podcast? And I already knew, because they honestly, all of them said, find something with constant content, because you don't want your podcast to die before you've even been able to get it out there.
Well, Reddit's going to be your answer.
Well, that's the thing. Ever since I was listening to other people doing Reddit stories, like, they were literally just everyday people. Like, I would actually listen to people that are, like, more comedians out there. Sure. But then I'd actually look for other podcasts. Like, I was interested. I'm like, I've already gone through all these episodes from this person on their, podcast. And I'm like, do other people do this? So I actually did find a few other people that were just, like, regular people. Everyday norm people, not on TV, not on YouTube, not influencers. They were literally like, hey, we decided to just read a bunch of Reddit stories off the internet and react to them. And by no means were they like, doctors or therapists or psychologists or anything about what, professionally probably given advice. Yeah. We probably do need professionals. But in this case, I was like, I could totally do this. And so that's when my research began, and I already knew, like, with Reddit, even if it ended, like, the stories, like, if they could not continue posting any more stories today, we have until 2004 when Reddit was created. Oh, wow. We got stories up until, like, all the way since the early 2000s. So, honestly, we would have stories for quite a while to last us if it had to stop now. But if you've ever been on Reddit, there are constant posts, like literally hour by hour. Like I'll just look for a day and I'll just send at least 8 to 10 of them just within of the first hour, not even the first hour of looking, because I'll be like, that's interesting, I'll send it to myself, and that's just within that day.
Right. I feel like Reddit is one of those platforms too where you don't have to really be censored in what you talk about or what you ask. So that's like, it's just such a treasure trove of different.
Do we need to be censored here? Are you gonna say some stuff?
But
I try, because eventually I have not put this on YouTube yet, but I think I'm going to. And with YouTube being a little strict with their censors.
Yeah, you have to be careful there.
I do. But I mean, we're not even on YouTube yet. And I know a lot of people just boom, boom, boom. They don't get paid, is what I hear, if they go against the policies they have for being censored. So eventually I figured, also, I don't really like swearing a lot.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
So if you're going to swear, let me know so I can bleep it,
I mean censored in the sense of like, fact-checking things, misinformation. Sometimes YouTube or their social media platforms, they don't want you talking about certain things because you'll get demonetized, flagged, or deplatformed. So.
Well, the craziest thing is I haven't really I haven't read all about that yet of if I'm crossing a line here, or if I can. I, for the most part, I'm pretty sure I can tell all these stories on here. Sure. Like, there are things I hear, like, someone needed permission, and I'm like, what? You need permission to read this? Like, I kind of just went on and just told a bunch of stories. Yeah. But everything's different. And I think it's because it's on the internet, most of it's, like, it's on the internet. So it's out there one way or another. So I think, but I think the craziest thing is people put it on Reddit, and then people all over the place have been, like, saying all these stories. And then someone's like, oh, I saw this on a TikTok. And someone will literally be like, oh, my word. They'll put an update and say, well, my story's out there now. Yeah. And this person I was talking about found out. Right. Yeah. So you got to be careful what you read and everything.
I feel like, too, though, when people post things on Reddit from TikTok, Reddit's a good place to post updates about people. All the true crime and like any real stories, whether they be on the supernatural front or 411 missing cases. I feel like Reddit's a really good place to find threads of updates for.
You don't realize, like, there are so many different I guess threads and subreddits, but there are so many things out there that they can be there's like ones of legal advice, there's one of like if you're into domestic violence,
sure,
there's like as much as you get a lot of crap on the internet from people, you're just like, oh wow, you guys are just on here all day just to put people down, but you actually do have an awesome community on Reddit that actually gives out valid advice to people to help them in the long run.
And it's good to get advice sometimes from people who are average everyday people that have maybe walked through the same situation that you walk through, and not always hear it from a professional. Or
I'm honestly continuously, like, when I'm listening to other people talking about Reddit stories, and they'll be talking about a story, and I'll just be like, they're like in a situation where like, what do I do in this situation? And I'll be like, oh my word, I actually know the answer to this, or like I know in my situation what I think is
walked through that.
So honestly, there's a lot of people that are on here, and there's stories about families and kids, parenting, spouses, and I will say, I feel like we'll have the most like general like knowledge of these things because we are moms, we are wives, we've been in a marriage for a while, so we've been through the ups and downs of everything, just in parenthood and marriage life. So honestly, we've kind of, I feel like sometimes just people who have already gone through that experience, not everyone has good advice. I will say that, not everyone, and sometimes people doing that, I don't like it when they're out there saying the weirdest things.
So I think sometimes advice, when it's not good advice, tends to be based around opinions. It's opinionated advice and not like factual advice.
And I will say, there's so many times when they're like, they're like trouble in paradise, obviously, like in a marriage relationship, and there is something that's gone on, and it can't be like, ugh, this is not a good situation for them to be in, and people will just be like, give them the D, give them the divorce, or give her, divorce them, and you're like, you know what, there are certain aspects that, yes, if something, I have only a few things that I know that would be suitable right away if you had to divorce them. But honestly, there are quite a few times where therapy, counseling is so great to go through. And I probably am a broken record on here because I say it constantly. But therapy is so great. And, I should probably be in it myself more.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay. Some of these are going to be all over the place. And I'm just going to do a bunch of them. Okay. I usually have a theme sometimes. But yeah, no, we are definitely all over the place on this ones. This is from r/Am I the A-hole? And it is actually kind of saying, this was from 2 years ago though. So just take that in, because it does say, would I be? So they hadn't done it yet, but it was from 2 years ago. So we'll probably have some updates on it. So this one is, would I be the a-hole for not attending my best friend's wedding after she told me she doesn't want me to be in any photos, but still wants me to be the maid of honor?
Is there any further context?
Oh yeah, we have a whole story.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just the title alone. Doesn't want to like drag you in, like just pull you in.
Yeah.
I know.
And wow, just based off that question, I don't know how I would answer that.
Exactly.
I guess I need some more context.
That's just the title alone. We're going to dive right in.
All right.
It's pretty good. Okay, so my female 27, best friend, also female 27, is getting married in February. She has been planning her wedding for 2 years, and I have been actively helping her the entire time as her maid of honor. I am extremely excited for her to get married, but she is slightly controlling. She's the kind of girl that has to have everything perfect or it's completely ruined. But her wedding, her rules. Well, I found out I was pregnant at the beginning of October and I am due toward the end of June. This is my first baby and I have struggled heavily with fertility issues. So this is a literal miracle baby. My husband and I had literally just given up hope and trying for a little while this past summer. I will be in my second trimester during the time of her wedding. Well, I told my best friend last week and she seemed upset. She wasn't too happy that I was pregnant, and her first question is if I would fit in my bridesmaid dress. The dress is extremely flowy, and I told her that I should be just fine. And if not, I'll cover the cost of any alternations. I think she meant alterations.
Yeah, alterations.
Just to let you know, these people sometimes do not know how to spell things.
That's all right.
So yeah, I definitely will. But I told her I would cover the cost of any alterations / buying another dress. I bought my dress in the first place anyways. Like literally her first question, not even congratulations. I tried to shrug it off and just assume she was stressed. Her bachelorette party is next month. I've been exclusively planning it. So I just reached out with the final details to her to confirm everything. During the phone call, she tried to make me feel bad that I wouldn't be drinking with the rest of them and that it wouldn't be the batch party of her dreams. And I told her it would still be fun. That upset me even more, but I just tried to shrug it off once again. Today she called and told me that she had a hard decision to make, but she's been thinking about it, and while she would like to keep me as matron of honor, so I guess she was married, so matron of honor, she doesn't want me in her pictures. She said that my bump would be too distracting, and she didn't want her pictures to turn into a maternity photo shoot, and that she just didn't feel comfortable with it. However, she still wanted me to pay for the bachelorette party, help her plan the wedding, and wanted me to do almost everything matron of honor except be in pictures, and she was debating if she still wanted me to give a speech. She then sent me a bunch of bag-like dresses to choose from as my new dress, since I won't need my matron of honor dress. Oh my gosh. We have been best friends since we were 10. I would have never, in my wildest dreams, expected her to act this way. Would I be the a-hole for dropping out of her wedding? I really don't feel like paying for and being supportive of a person who treats me like a disposable mooch after years of fertility issues. But I also feel like I may be overreacting, as some of my friends said that I would look odd in the pictures. Thoughts?
Oh, goodness. I sure hope she had a really open conversation with her best friend, because, my goodness. That is so
wrong.
Rude. Yeah.
That is, like, first of all, you're not even happy for your best friend who's had fertility issues.
Right.
And she's finally pregnant. You should be jumping with joy. But no, it's all about you. And all you can think about is if the aesthetics of your wedding is going to be all off because she's pregnant. I
wonder how their marriage is 2 years later.
Oh, the actual friend and half the time with these Bridezilla stories, I honestly, like, how did you actually get married?
Right.
Like, how did you actually find someone to love you the way you are?
So to share my thoughts, I honestly don't think that she is wrong or an a-hole, I guess, if you want to say, for wanting to back out of her best friend's wedding just to protect her own heart. And if there'd be hopefully, I don't know what the update is or what ended up happening, but I hope that she made that decision.
I agree that if she wanted to get out, especially with everything, if things are not feeling right with you or sitting right with you with how she's treating you, don't put any more stress onto yourself. No. You're pregnant. You've had issues. The stress is the worst part, especially with you having to take over helping with this wedding. Right. Tell her, like, I'm sorry. You know what? This is just a lot of stress on me. You don't even have to make it about yourself or about her, like, maybe making you not feel good. You could just put an excuse saying, you know what, there's a lot going on in my life right now, and I feel like this is going to be the best for both of us if I'm just a guest, and I'll be there and support you, but I'll just be a guest at your wedding.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's absolutely
because
a good way to handle that.
You want to include your bridesmaids.
Absolutely.
You want to include your matron of honor in the pictures and everything. And for that person to be like, oh, I just don't want you in pictures. Like, that is a slap in the face. This person is doing everything to make your bridal experience, like, amazing. And you're just literally just throwing her in the trash. Like, what kind of friend is this?
And to be real, like, it still wouldn't take the eyes off the bride. I mean, the bride is going to be in this beautiful dress with her groom and this beautiful wedding party. I mean, people will notice a little baby bump, but who cares?
Who cares? Honestly, it's just ridiculous.
Rejoice in all things, right?
Exactly. So there is an edit, so just more information added to it. I want to first say a big thank you to all the wonderful comments of congratulations and support. I often try to be very level-headed about things, sometimes to the detriment of myself, and also still wanted to be a part of the day since she is my best friend and we have grown together for so long. I am someone who really values integrity, and I felt like if I dropped out, I would be betraying a core value of mine. And many, many, many people reached out to me for an update. So here it is. I sat down with her and had a very long and blunt talk. I even brought out the post to show her that I am not crazy about some of the points I made. I told her about how this deeply hurt my feelings by her words and actions. I told her that I couldn't understand why I couldn't be a full matron of honor and be included in pictures. If I were to be fully honest, she almost convinced me that the whole idea of just keeping me as matron of honor, but with no pictures, was for my benefit. She told me if it was to take the stress off of me for the day and to make sure I didn't feel uncomfortable with my new weight. But I knew but I knew it wasn't true. I knew she just didn't want me to be in her wedding party with a baby bump, but wanted my money and planning expertise.
Sure.
I've withheld this information, but I am a wedding planner, She's a wedding planner.
Oh, that's why she wanted her.
Oh my gosh, she withheld that information, but man, girl, that would have been good to have in there. So I've withheld this information, but I am a wedding planner with many connections. However, I wouldn't cut any of them off due to a falling out. I am not planning her wedding, as I have felt it would be too much for me because I would want it to be to a level of perfection I couldn't achieve. But I did hook her up with another planner friend who is incredible, but she has utilized me for free a lot. Okay. I think I realized all too clearly in almost an instant that the second she got engaged, that our friendship became a business partnership to her, whereas it never changed for me. For the past 2 years, what I thought were friendship bonding experiences for me, I realized were merely free experiences for her.
Sounds like the door on that friendship was getting ready to close.
That's so sad. So sad. In the end, I decided to step out of the wedding as matron of honor. I will be sending all the information I have to our joint friend who is in the wedding party and will still be paying for that friend's portion of the batch party instead of the whole thing, as I know it will put that friend out of money, which I feel awful about. I have been uninvited to the whole... Oh my gosh. I have been uninvited to the wedding as a whole, which was not unexpected. My friend was very angry and upset with the conversation and said some deeply hurtful things that I will take me a long time to recover from. To say I am devastated is an understatement, as I expected this woman to be the godmother of my child. But I feel extremely relieved to have discovered this before the birth of my child. Now my baby's life will be filled with people who love them unconditionally, and the same goes for me. Once again, thank you all. I appreciate your assurances and help more than you will ever know. Wow. So she was uninvited altogether. She was going to be the godmother of the child. You know what? This happened for the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
This all broke out before this baby came, which would have been messy.
Sometimes situations are created... you have to walk through certain things to realize that this relationship, this friendship is not good. You have to walk through those really painful... I mean, I've gone through that myself with a friendship that I haven't spoken to this former friend of mine, I think, since 2012. So about as long as, I've been married. And it was about a wedding. It wasn't like about... She was supposed to be my like personal attendant.
Oh yeah,
behind the scenes person. And actually, it wasn't, the falling out wasn't anything over like anything like wedding related. It was something like politically related. It was so silly and so juvenile.
That's what they're usually over a silly little thing, but like, they blow up into something bigger, and that's when you know like just how that person reacts to something so small and silly. You just know that, you know what, I think I dodged a bullet with having this person in my life longer.
And it wasn't that one instance. There were like several instances that led up to that point, but it just led me to shut the door on that friendship and wished her well and sent her on her way. And I hope she's still doing great. But
I will say, like, I have a lot of friends that I was friends with since I was little, but we are not anywhere close like we were back then. All my high school friends, we have just drifted apart, but we all went to college, all got married, had a couple of us have kids. I was the first one, obviously. I was the first one to have a kid, to get married. They all came and saw my kid. They all came and supported me. They all came to my wedding. But because I was so young when all that happened, they were still like just in relationships, still finishing up college and everything. So I got busy because I was trying to finish up college, plus had a new baby. And working and married, so I was like, I had no time, and we were all very far away, kind of in our way. So if we truly wanted to get together, we would. Right. So I will say, I don't have like the strong relationships of a childhood friend. If we do, it's like, oh, it's great to see you, but we're not like catching up with each other all the time. I will say I've had a few friendships a couple of them with Justin and I mutual friends, and some of them just my own, of like maybe through work or something, that we definitely needed to, like, I guess it wasn't no contact or cutting them off, but it was definitely low contact. And since having low contact with them, it kind of distanced ourselves away from them, because it wasn't anything, it was super messy. And one was super intense. She was a very, very aggressive, just hyper person. I wouldn't say she was mean or anything. No, she was just aggressively party-like.
Oh, wow.
And it was like to a point where, like, she'd make these irrational decisions, aggressive decisions on just something all of a sudden, like, oh, we're gonna do this, and it's be something totally crazy. And I'm like, I'm all for having fun, but this might be a little too far now.
Well, and that, not only that, but like when you are an adult, you can't make irrational, spontaneous decisions like that all the time.
No. I have a kid, so it's like, if this goes sideways, there's no coming back up from this.
Right.
My life's still sideways after this. So
and that's one thing I've realized when, with becoming an adult, like, when you're a child, you are still upset when those friendships, when you have rifts in friendships and friendships end, but I think you grieve it more as an adult because you realize how important it is to have other people in your life that truly love and care about you. Because, my daughter came home from kindergarten one day and said, so-and-so doesn't like me. She's not my friend anymore. I'm like, give it a day, sweetheart. Right. Give it a day. And then the next day or two later, she was fine. But I think as an adult, we say things like that, and we truly mean it, because I think friendships impact us in such a profound way.
Yeah.
That when things happen, like, oh yeah, like, there is a problem here. We need to talk about it. Or maybe this is, we should shut the door on this friendship and just go our separate ways. And
yeah. The one that was mutually between Justin's and mine, mainly it was his friend. And, like, he was, like, involved in our wedding, and he was, like, a really good friend in the beginning. And he had kind of himself had kind of a messy relationship before that he was going to ask her to marry him, and she ended up rejecting him. And then something, like, the whole relationship ended. He was such a good friend. He was very, like, I don't know. He was just a very good friend to Justin. Really made him think of his decisions. If there was something like, hey, is this the right way to go? Like, should you be doing this? Like, that's the kind of, he was the person he would fall onto this guy. He was a part of our wedding. He started dating this one girl, and she's a very lovely girl, but it was definitely not intended to be a long-time relationship at the beginning. It was kind of a rebound thing from his previous one. They ended up lasting for a very long time, or not very, very long time, but she was definitely super kind. They ended up getting married, and there was something, like, going on in his church that he didn't agree with the pastor, and he's like, I'm all off churches ever again. And we're just like, no, come on. And she just, I don't know, she probably didn't encourage him to keep the way he was living before, which was fine. But then he kind of changed himself, and then he started going on this kind of rebellious kind of thing, and then got into bodybuilding. Oh my. And that drained everything from them, like savings and everything. Like, she took out her savings to go into competitions. And I mean, the things that, she supported him with all that, and she really did everything for this guy. And I don't know, they then got pregnant. After they were married, they got pregnant, and had the baby. And then within, like, a few months of having the baby, they split ways.
Oh my.
She really wanted to work out. He went out and found himself a girlfriend. A 3-month-old baby. Found a girlfriend. And got that girlfriend pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Not even officially divorced yet. the way everything, but this is before we cut, we cut off kind of the relationship or contact, because this guy, Justin, helped get a job for him at his place. He kind of just disrespected Justin at his work because he was like, Justin vouched for this guy to be like, hey, this guy's a really hard worker, and he is. But basically, he tried to do everything he did, cut corners to get where he wanted to go, like to another new position and higher position. Okay. And like he wanted to get higher than Justin, and Justin had been there for like over 6 years. And like now Justin's been there for over 10 years. But it was a terrible thing. It was so messy. And then it was to the point where like the wife, my friend, basically, because we became pretty close, was just like, I don't know what he's doing. Like, you know, he's taking the dog for a walk, but I don't know if he is. We should go drive by and see if he's there. And oh my word, I don't know why I agreed, because I was just like, oh, I don't want you to do something stupid, so I'm going to come with you. But now I look like I did something stupid because I think he caught us. Oh, no. And then he said, why are you following me? And she's like, I'm not following you. And I'm just like, I told Justin, I'm like, I am getting so stressed. Justin and I were fighting over this couple, and it's like there's no problems between us, but yet we are so stressed right now with this couple. It's like, you know what, for our sake, because our marriage comes first.
Right, absolutely.
Oh my word. Like, we are not going to bend over backwards, because we even had them, like, somehow he kicked her out of their house together. She had to come over because she didn't know who else to go to, so she came to us. It was ridiculous. Even talking about it, this was years ago, guys, and this was like, even talking about it brings me anxiety and stress from it, because I was that person. I was going to school for social work. I was a huge person that was really into counseling and psychology and everything. So I'm a very empathetic person too. I really feel for people, and when they have hurt and problems they go through, I really feel towards them to really not feel what they're feeling, but to really bring myself at their level, to be like, okay, how can I help them? What is some outer perspective that they're going through that we could help them? I don't know. I'm a person that likes to help too much. And what you were talking about your daughter saying, like, we're not friends. My daughter is the complete opposite, where she's the mediator between the friends.
Yeah.
She's the person who will come home bawling to me about two friends not getting along, and she's in the middle. And they're fighting, and I just want them to get along, and I just can't stand this. This is so hurtful. And I'm like, honey, stop putting this on yourself. This is between those two girls, not you. You've done everything you can. Don't do much more, because it's hurting you more.
Yeah.
And that's who I am. I should just follow my own words, because I am terrible at that. I put myself in there to be like the mediator, and I end up probably getting bashed the most out of everything, because I'm stuck in the middle, and there's no way out, because they're not moving, these two walls. So yeah, no, we've kind of ranted about this, but it is, the moral of the story is, it's okay to cut ties.
It is, especially if it's for the betterment of yourself, of family, yeah,
your marriage, and your oncoming baby kid. Sorry, baby, just baby. Your new coming baby.
Yeah,
I mean, just put the toxic out of your life. Make it this. You don't need stress. Let me tell you, as a mom, you're going to be stressed.
Just as is with children.
Just as is being a parent. Yeah. And you don't need any more outside of your family. Right. Especially when it's so silly. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
So it was probably for the best. But what we usually do is we usually say the top comment.
Okay.
And in this case, this one person said, not the a-hole. Not only would I drop out of the wedding, but I drop out of this farce of a friendship. No friend worth having would have responded to your happy news with anything less than genuine excitement for you.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? We're not even going to go into anything else, because literally all of them are the same.
In support of that.
Yes. Like, seriously, this was deemed not the a-hole on Reddit. There are, for Am I the A-hole, they actually do have a, 4 categories of they can vote for you. So that you could be the a-hole. You could be not the a-hole. It could be, there are sometimes not enough info. And then there
Is there like any gray areas?
Everybody sucks here.
Okay, so that's like the gray area.
That's the gray area where this person is kind of a jerk.
But so are you.
But so are you. So they didn't handle this right, but you didn't either. Yeah, so yeah. I do like that. I like that everybody sucks here because there are tons of times when that is possible. Okay. I've never read this one, so I am so sorry if it's not good. But this was from 3 days ago.
Okay, so very recent.
Yes. Also from Am I the A-Hole? There's a lot of them that are from Am I the A-Hole, but there's just so many good ones from that one. This one is, Am I the A-Hole for throwing a cup of cold water on my naked husband?
Oh my, are we going down a spicy...
It doesn't say not safe for work, so I don't know. But for those who just heard the title from me, if you think you can't, just don't listen to this if you're at work out loud. Like, put your headphones on. I would never be able to listen to an actual podcast in the open with other people.
Right.
Like, especially in a workplace. Like, you don't know what people are going to say. Just bam. The next thing they say could be something like there was this one story with Brandy and I. It was under legal advice, but it was crazy about a father-in-law painting explicit photos of his daughter-in-law.
Oh, my.
And so she was like, as long as it's portrayed as art and not a portrait.
Oh, bless.
Like, so basically, but she didn't pose for him. He just like, I'm trying to go off of like Aphrodite goddess like features. And she's like, as long as it's like displayed as like art and not a portrait, so you don't recognize my face. Like, I think she was like trying to be supportive of him, but not like, don't make it so it's like literally clearly me. Well, he made it clearly him. And it wasn't just like beautiful art like the Greek goddesses that you would picture. Right. Oh no, this was very explicit. Like the legs were spread apart.
Oh my.
You could see everything. So literally I had to say on the show, like, she is literally, and the son, the husband was okay with it because then he wanted to show it at an art show. I know. She's like, down to the very mole on my butt. He had it down. And first of all, she's like, we were all like, how does he even know about that?
Right.
So obviously he's been,
my word.
Honestly, he's been talking to the son. Who knows if the son has shown him pictures? The son's okay with this. So then I'm just like, so you're okay, husband, showing your wife's vagina in front of everyone.
Wow. And for what purpose? Like, is he a perv? Like,
I don't know. But basically, he was saying that he is, he couldn't go the path of art like he wanted to as he was younger because he had to take care of the family. So he's now, as he's older, wants to go back to that hobby. Well, this is one type of hobby. But anyways, I guess he had given some of his art to someone to show, and they're like, oh, we want to have all your art at an art show. And she's like, no, I didn't agree to that. Like, so she's like asking legal advice, like, is there any way that I could tell him to, like, have them take it down? I'm like, basically, the best thing was contact the art show and tell them, like, hey, I did not give him consent to draw something like this. How would you even know.
Approach a legal case against your father-in-law for anything like that?
Oh, there are a lot of stories on here where it's mainly family that people build cases against. So,
because wouldn't there have to be like a case of like an inappropriate situation or like an abuse situation happen between the father-in-law and the daughter-in-law in order for, on top of like,
so yeah, this couldn't be this. I don't even know if this would be, if that could have even like been like sexual harassment at all, because it is, she did give him permission to paint this, but she did not give permission to sell it at a art show.
Okay.
And that would be, so the thing is, you should have, we were both kind of in the senses here, like Brandy and I, we were saying that she should have talked to him or kept in contact more to check on him.
So it falls in the category of because you both suck.
It kind of did, because in the end it was kind of like, there's really not much you can do other than you can contact people and tell them, I did not give him consent to sell these, and this is a portrait of me, but he did paint it and she did give permission to do that. She should have checked in on him more. the thing is, he did not contact her about it until he already had gone to the art show people. Okay. So it was just messy. But honestly, that you really couldn't have anything against. I don't know. I don't know if there's a lawyer out there that could have gone on that episode I did and say anything specific on what they could have done, but there really wasn't much other than people were saying contact the art show. Otherwise, people were just like, you should have given your father-in-law more boundaries.
Exactly.
You should have, instead of just being okay, she literally just told him one thing: as long as it's not a portrait.
Right.
Well, obviously it was. I think she was thinking, oh, make it extract art and not a portrait. Make it like, how like people did like extract as like the shapes and the movement of the person. Yeah. So it wasn't exactly them, but it was like, oh, I can see the silhouette of a woman's body there. See, that. I think that's what she was saying, but she should have gone into more detail about that. That was the thing. That was kind of everyone kind of sucks because you should have gone into more detail on what he could or couldn't do, and you should have kept up on him. I would have been, first of all, I don't think I'd ever agree to my father-in-law wanting to paint a nude portrait or picture of me.
Well, did she know it was going to be?
Yeah, she knew. Because he said,
that's right.
He was going off of like an Aphrodite goddess kind of like theme. And he was like, and you are such a beautiful woman, or like the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. So first of all, that's a boundary already crossed. And the husband seems to be all okay with it because at first I think he's given him plenty of details on what he should have been doing with the portraits. And I think the husband, we did say, wait a minute, how are you okay with this? And I guess he at first thought it was going to be a lovely present to give her, showing like this was romantic, which is not. If it was your husband painting a portrait of you, that's different. Right. But this is your father-in-law.
That is so creepy.
Picturing you naked. Ugh. And very, very explicitly, like she was saying, the legs were all split out. You could see everything front and back, and every very sexual poses.
Sure.
So we were all like, well, if it's like, the Greek artists and everything, you know what? People really don't see sexual as a thing for art. They really see it as an actual thing of art. So Brandy was trying to be like the devil's advocate and be like, oh, the Greek goddesses, people don't see it sexual, and, they see it as like a masterpiece. And I'm like, but then we went on and we saw that she's like, and this was just not your normal Greek poses. This was legs and everything spread apart. And I'm just like, that seals it for me.
Yep.
No.
Absolutely.
So,
so gross.
I know. Oh. So okay, we're gonna go on to this one because I'm so excited to go on this with you because, and like from the past episodes, people have, but I've said in my past episodes that I have no friends. That is obviously a lie. I do have friends, guys. I'm just saying, obvious. Like I think I'm comparing myself to Justin because he gets on his online buddies that he plays with all the time. He's got so many bromances going on, and I feel like I'm like, well, if I had a chance to game with some girls or talk to them on the phone all the time, I would. But we're a little drained from the day after our kids go to bed, and I can finally like sit down and
not talk to anyone. Not discipline anyone.
No. Okay, don't do that. I told you no yelling. Don't make me yell back at you.
So, like, in order for... Side note here. I know we're going to be going off on several tangents, but side note. I think moms... Specifically moms, wives, just if you have not had children yet, but specifically moms, we need a day so we can plan, so we can prepare ourselves, make sure we're well rested, make sure we can give our friend the time, the undivided attention that
honestly
we both need.
Really, and this is where I'm like with like just kids and work and everything. I would be okay with a 3-day weekend every week because it's like we have Saturday, that's our stuff. Like if we can't get it during the week, boom, we're doing it all on Saturday. Like today, major cleaning. half of it was because you're coming over, and we don't usually have people come over.
Oh, goodness.
But honestly, it was really needed. Like, bam, I haven't seen this house this clean, and it's not even that clean.
Well, I thank you.
Way more clean. Way more clean than it usually is. I thank you for
cleaning just for me.
You know what? That's okay. You know what's funny? Because you said is it you or Josh that's allergic to cats?
I mean, we both kind of are, but I'm fine if I don't touch cats. I can be in the same environment. But I've
had cats for 6 years, a little over 6 years. Mm-hmm. And after my third pregnancy, I became allergic to cats.
Did you really?
Yeah. So I am actually allergic to a bunch of animals.
I've heard of that happening before.
And cats are the biggest one. And yeah, no, I was never allergic before because I worked at a vet clinic for 3.5 years.
That's wild.
I had a dog for over 20 years. And I love animals. And I've only been allergic to like all the outdoor pollen and everything.
Yeah.
So when I was having problems, we went to go check on an allergist, and I thought it was like something specifically from outside because that's what's caused me those problems. I've had cats all over me. Like, they love me and get in my face and everything. I mean, I'm working and I like, boom, they sit on my lap, my hands as I'm trying to type, and I just work around them because they're just there.
Yeah.
But then, when they're like, oh, yeah, looks like you're allergic to animal dander, and it looks like cats are on the top list. And I'm like, cats and dogs. And I'm like,
I've heard that happening.
Are you kidding me? I literally live with them. There's no way I'm getting rid of them.
I've heard that happening. I actually Googled just the other day, can you develop allergies at any point in time in your life? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
You can. And what
your body changes.
Right. And what better time for your body to do that than after you've had a baby?
Yeah, well, actually,
everything's all out of whack.
With each pregnancy, I've had something different. So after my second pregnancy, my hair became more wavy and curly.
Really?
Yes.
Was it more straight before you had kids?
Well, I think it's probably because of the many years I blow dried and straightened it from, 2000s, 2000s girl here from high school. And we'd every morning.
What year did you graduate?
2013.
Oh, okay. A little bit on the...
I know, I'm not that...
I graduated 2007.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to remember what our things here. But I had 2 older siblings ahead of me. So I did everything they did at an earlier stage. Plus, my parents are a little bit older. So, like, I know oldies by heart. And I'm a little old soul. So as much as I am young, I'm just barely 30. I'm 31. I'm just a little baby here still.
You were just entering in your 30s. I'm on my way out. I'll be 37 at the end of this year.
You are 2007. My sister graduated in 2000. My oldest graduated in 2009.
Okay, Jessica did?
No, wait. I was 13. No, Anna was 2009. She was 2007, so she graduated the same year. Wait a minute, you're 37? She's 30,
I will be.
She'll be 37. Oh my gosh. This is so...
Jessica?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so...
okay, that just, like, literally hit me, because here I am, like, I still think that I'm still in my 20s, guys.
Me too. I am mentally still there. I'm mentally still in high school.
My sister is, too, because we're in the same boat. We have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And she's got some kids that are even younger than mine, so it's like, because I can't believe her and her husband, they're going to be, like, in their 40s here soon. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That makes me feel like... time is passing way too fast.
Let's see. In 9 years, I'll have an 18-year-old. That is wild.
Well, that's the crazy thing. When I'm 40, I'll have a 20-year-old.
That is crazy.
So talk about I'm gonna feel old and I'm gonna have a youngin'. I mean, I could have a grandkid in my 40s.
Well, let's not rush that.
We are not gonna rush into that. Like, seriously. No way. Like,
right.
I don't mind being a young grandma, but
yes,
take your time, girls.
Please.
Don't be like me.
Get married first and then have lots of babies.
Yeah, don't be like me. This is where, when I have kids, I'm like, this is where I just don't want them to go through the same things I did.
Yeah, no. Learn from your mistakes.
Learn from your parents' mistakes, too.
Not that they were mistakes, because all children are blessings, but...
learn from your past experiences.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Experiences is a great word.
Great word. We don't want to say they're mistakes, because they were blessings in disguise.
Yep. Blessings you didn't know you needed.
Yes, exactly, because we wouldn't be here today.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to go back to the story here.
Back on track.
This, if you're okay, we're already getting into an hour. Are you okay if we go into, how long are you going to be able to be here?
I can be here till, like, maybe 8. 15? Or...
Can we go for that then? Because we've only done one story.
But this is fun though.
This is good. I usually want to try and get to at least 4 stories, so if we can rapid fire the last ones. But
let's go for it.
But yeah, no, this is good. This is why we need to do this more, because
absolutely
this is what I need. I needed more back and forth.
Yes,
I go from these other people, my family, and we're just like, yeah, that's how it is, and that's it.
That's what I love about podcasts. Like on one that I listen to, Ninjas or Butterflies,
which you showed me that, you even told me about that, and all of a sudden I came across from it totally forgetting that you even told me about these people, and I'm just like, oh, these people are awesome. I should tell Molly about this. And she's like, isn't that who she told you to listen to? And I'm like, it is.
And this is exactly what they do. They go back and forth. They still like share bits of information, but it's so relatable. You feel like you can relate to those 3 people.
Honestly, we need to go off of those, because those conspiracies they come up with are so like chill down the spine factory.
That's my favorite kind of podcast.
Like, oh my word, there are some things. They said something about like one of the chapters of the books of the Bible, and they were saying like this battle that went on, and it was the time where they had, as long as they left had the staff, and I can't remember who it was, and this is really bad because if my pastor was listening, they would be not happy with me. And I don't think it's Judah. I can't remember who it was, but someone was in a battle or a war for 7 years. And as long as they had his arms, he had the staff above his hands, God had told him that you will win the battle or the war or something like that. But whenever he lowered, his arms got tired and he lowered his arms, they would start losing. And they had to have people hold it up. But literally, it was always day. It never went night or anything. It was always day. And that's where the ninjas or butterflies or whatever, they were saying that all around the world, they actually have it documented somewhere in that country's or that whereabouts history, that there was one time in their life where it never, the sun never went down, or it never became day.
Was it in the Old Testament?
It had to been. It had to have been.
Okay. And you said it was a war or battle?
Yeah, it was a battle where if they had their staff above their above their heads, they would always win.
Okay.
I know you fact checking on, and that's the thing. I think I don't even know if I sent it to myself. I should have, but this is where I need to be like posting things or sending things to myself so we can go on this. But this is where, and I didn't have it ready for this one, but we need to do a conspiracy episode.
Yes, I would love that.
Yes. So, did you find out?
The only thing I can think of is like the Battle of Jericho, but because like marching around the walls of Jericho 7 times. I don't think
it was Jericho, but I'd have to fact check that. So, sorry guys, if you're interested in that story.
I need to get
I need to get into that more, because there are things that they would come up with were just awesome. Yeah. They were just like,
and how they connect the dots.
Yes.
Whether or not, I mean, because everything is speculation, right? I mean, because we only know.
We're not 100% sure on everything.
And we only know what we have in the Word. I mean, that's canon. That's what we go off of as believers. And yeah, there are things that were taken out of the Bible, and like our pastor said, it's okay to read those books, but just keep in mind that that is not canon, that is not pertinent to the gospel. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's where sometimes people don't understand how, like, there are some truly amazing things that happen in the Bible
if you just stop and think about it and how that relates.
And sometimes when other people are explaining it, it makes it a little bit easier to understand. And that's just where people who dive in more into that to bring it out into a type of understanding for us to bring it into our heads, like wrap it all around, because honestly, there are things in the Bible I don't even understand. And that's where we have our church and our pastors to break it down for us.
So all this to say,
break it down now.
You should go listen to Ninjas Are Butterflies.
Yeah. Shout out to Ninjas Are Butterflies, because they are really cool.
And you can listen to them on any platform. Spotify is my favorite place to listen to them. Or you can watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, there's actually some clips here and there on like Facebook and Instagram. You can look them up and just listen to some of the stories they put out there. But man, guys, they really dive in deep into it. It's really cool. So anyways, back to it,
because we got to rapid fire these stories.
I know, we really do. So, okay, am I the a-hole for throwing a cup of cold water on my naked husband?
Okay.
Again, to that title.
Let's get into the context.
Yeah. Okay, my husband has been tested... Okay, sorry. My husband has been tested for ADHD. When they said tested, I wasn't thinking.
Tested for that.
Well, we just heard naked body and then tested. So yes. my brain was, whoop. Okay. So anyways, my husband has been tested for ADHD, but he doesn't have it. He has the kind of problems that are associated with ADHD, however. He says writing list, making a schedule, setting alarms, etc. is physically painful for him, and he'd rather just deal with occasional emergencies rather than be proactive. The specific problem: he often forgets to push the shower diverter valve down. You know, the little rod on the tub faucet that you push down to make the water fill the tub, and then pull up to make the water come out of the shower. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay. You turn on the water. You put on that little faucet, that little thing above the faucet.
So he forgets that?
Apparently, he forgets to. Oh, he forgets to push it back down. I think after, because he says he often forgets to push the shower diverter valve down. So for nearly 20 effing years.
Oh my word!
And it is period 20. Period years.
Oh my stars.
She has had it. I have been asking him to push that down. Since I was literally a teenager, I have been asking him to push that thing down. At least twice a month, I have a very unpleasant wake-up cold shower because I turn the water on and I get a cold spray from the shower, and every time he's apologetic. She says the F word a lot in this.
Oh my!
She must be
really bothered.
She must be really bothered. This must have just broken her. And every time he's apologetic, and then a week or two later, it happens again. He will do better for a while, and then it slips in again. He is always telling me that he's working on it and hasn't he been better about it lately? But somehow he's always working on it, always improving. But it never effing stops. I'm just going to not say the F words anymore. Today I had just had it. Well, if you hear the hesitant, it's probably because of that. I stepped into the shower, turned it on, and had a very cold and rude awakening. I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed the cup by the sink and filled it about 3 inches with cold water and walked out to where he was standing naked. He had just taken off his pajamas and was going to take a shower after mine. Without warning, while he was looking down, I held the plastic cup firmly in my hand, and grasping it tightly, I jerked that mother effer in a 45-degree angle to get that cold water all over his torso and face. I told him that his apologies were worth the paper they were written on, and I was tired of listening to him congratulate him for getting better, when I had been asking for 20 years to stop doing this crap. I told him I don't accept his apologies, and the fact that it's an accident does not excuse it. I told him that from now on, every time I'm taking a cold shower, so is he. That I refuse to be a second-class citizen in my own house and any longer, and if he refuses to make changes to treat me better, I will instead make changes to treat him worse, because I will not tolerate this any longer. I'm going to continue to surprise throwing a cup of cold water on him every time I get a surprise cold shower. I'm tired of asking/begging for basic respect and not getting it, with the implication that I have to, she uses a lot of F words in here, put up with this forever. So Reddit, I know I probably am an a-hole, but am I a justified a-hole?
No, she's not. She is not justified.
You know you are, and no, you're not. You are just an a-hole.
So, okay, here's my question though. Does the whatever valve, does it control the temperature of the water? That's my...
No, so this is what happens with ours. You have to turn the water to whatever temperature.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't... she probably doesn't have instant hot water.
Oh, well,
for us, this is why I don't know, but this is where she could just literally just turn the water on and let it warm up.
Yeah,
if she knows
and then get in the shower.
Yes, because we have to turn it on and it gets cold right away.
Sure.
So we have to take at least a minute before it warms up to a good enough temperature. Yeah. So even with my kids, they know not to jump in right away or you're going to get cold.
Right. So what we do, or what I don't necessarily do this, but we have a shower head that like turns towards the shower wall. So even if the water comes out of the shower head right away and my husband forgets, I just face it the other way.
Right.
But honestly,
I'll put it down.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, it's not directed where I'm going to step in.
Right. So you're not blasted with cold water. Or like, don't get in. Like, turn on the water. Like, close the shower curtain and just stick your hand in and turn on the faucet.
I check it all the time for the kids.
Who cares if it's on or off? Petty things.
I was just thinking, like, come on. Like, yeah, he could remember. But is it really that big of a deal that you could just wait a couple of minutes, like a second before getting in and checking on it?
Or just overlook the problem
like,
or overlook
this really,
what
situation. Is that what they say? Is this the hill you want to die on?
Right.
Is this the hill you want to die on with your marriage?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, this is so silly.
This is the thing.
It's like...
Things like this, like, ruin secular marriages, I'm afraid.
Yes. Like, when people don't... should you overlook so many things? No, don't overlook so many things. Really talk to your partner about that. Right. But honestly...
But that's not a serious issue.
No, it's not. Yes, you can keep reminding them and be patient with your husband. Obviously, he doesn't have ADHD, but he's a man, and every man has those tendencies. Yeah. So
give grace and stop being petty.
I don't know how many times I have to remind Justin to do things, and I literally have to stop myself before getting angry about it. And I have to take a deep breath and be like, hey, could you do this? And he's like, do I need to do it now? Yes, I'd really like you to do this now, because if I don't tell you to do this now, I'm going to forget later, and I know you're not going to remember. And it's just a guy thing. They are not equipped like women to remember things. It's just
I get the mental load part of it with other things in your marriage, and you want your husband to share the mental load, but maybe he can share the mental load with other things that are actually more important than the shower.
I feel like there's here's the thing. This is where, and I've definitely been in this situation before where I think I was nagging so much because there were so many things Justin wasn't doing, and he's just had to learn. Men take so much longer to grow maturely in a marriage and being a father and knowing when to do things to be helpful.
Right.
And in this case, I have a feeling there's a bunch of other things that he does that she just can't stand. And this is where, instead of just resenting him for all of it and just holding all that anger towards him, like, don't be petty.
Right.
Be light, make a light joke out of it. Just really try and talk to him more about it. And if you really are going to if this is really going to break your marriage apart, this is just so funny for me to say that, then, oh my word, go get some counseling. You guys have bigger problems in your marriage than just the shower head.
Because you always have to cite a reason for divorce. Wouldn't that just be something if somebody actually put that specific reason for the reason they were divorced?
Honestly, I didn't even know, because honestly, I've never thought of divorce, but I didn't know you had to actually put a specific reason.
You have to cite. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
There are so many things where people are just like, when I hear on this one, they're like, the reason for divorce, like, I had to put this because I couldn't put it over on this.
What do they call it? I can never think of that word. Like irreconcilable differences or something like that, or something along those lines.
There was something about the difference. Yeah, there's something that covers that, like, just like you said.
So things you can reconcile.
Couldn't agree on and everything.
Right.
So
that's like an overarching umbrella term for, like, we can't problem solve in our marriage.
Honestly, facts. Like, literally, when people are like, well, I want to go this way. Well, I want to go that way. Well, you guys can't
right.
You guys, what am I trying to say? You guys can't
compromise.
Yeah. I was going to say compromise. No, I was going to say compromise. Okay, see? Brain. I've been having too many cleaning chemicals in my brain right now from cleaning.
And it's the end of the day.
It's the end of the day. It's the evening. Right? So, as we go into edited to answer some of the questions, someone said, why don't I just checked myself.
Yeah.
Why do I expect him to leave it the way I want it left?
Yeah,
and her answer is, I don't expect him to leave it the way I want. What I expect him is to leave things the way he found them. When he walks into the bathroom, it's pushed down. That's how I leave it, so he doesn't get blasted with cold water. But he doesn't leave things the way he found them. Instead, he often leaves the last 10 or 20% of a task for me to clean up for him. So I'm guessing she does things to be considerate of him. She thinks for the future, thinking, oh, I'm going to do this so it's not a problem for him when he comes in. But that's just, and I don't want to make an excuse that men just don't think that way. They don't think of how to make this, how do I make my partner's life easier when I leave the room? Like, instead of leaving food all over the counter that I got out and I'm done with it.
Right.
Then you usually would be like, oh, why didn't you just put it away? Because you were done with it. And it's just a constant reminder, and I'm not putting an excuse on any guys. Guys, please don't do that. Please be helpful for your wives. And when they have a problem, really, really, really listen to what she is saying and be more thoughtful on what she wants you to have done. But yeah, honestly, another question was, why don't I leave it the way I found it? Why don't you just leave it up if he leaves it up? And her answer is, if I left things the way I found them, I would live in a sty. I would also spend a great deal of energy making things messier, as I would literally be cleaning up to make space for myself and then undoing that work to put things back as a mess. So I would say she is a little of an A type of personality. Type A personality, where she's very organized, has things a certain way. If they're not done that way, it's a disaster.
I wonder if she could...
And he is probably a messy person.
I wonder if she could delegate something else in the household that could help her in some way. Because, in a biblical marriage, wives are designed to be the husband's helpmeet and to help the husband and to be... I hate the word partner. I hate when people refer to their spouse as a partner, but you are designed
partner just to be generalizing for everyone out there,
But I think this wouldn't be such a big issue if he took care of other things. That would help take a mental load off of.
I think she's about to break.
Yeah.
And I've definitely been there. I've definitely cried a lot with things that I want my husband to do more.
Right.
Because it's just a mental load when you think nothing gets done except by me.
Right.
Literally nothing ever gets done the right way.
I think every wife and mother feels that to some extent.
Justin does the dishes for me, and they're never in the same spot.
So I don't mind doing dishes and laundry, but Josh loves doing dishes over laundry. So I have a laundry schedule set up for us and post it on our laundry room door. I tackle laundry and just knock it out really fast, and he knocks out dishes and gets all of our recycling ready to go, and it works.
Yeah.
I think we naturally gravitate towards the things that we like to do and tackle. Sometimes, we try to involve our kids, although those tasks become incomplete because, distractions
word.
And
I kind of gave up on how their drawers look, and I don't care anymore. Because I'm trying to involve them more to do their own laundry. Right. Because laundry is my biggest thing. I don't mind washing it, drying it, and all that stuff, and trying to get to it, but it takes so much time to do the laundry with all the kids, and I blame for having way too much clothes for my kids. Honestly, we should just do 7 or 5 things for every item. For literally real. Just 5 things, because less laundry. We don't need all these t-shirts. We don't need all these pants and socks. Socks are just horrible. I have a whole basket of miscellaneous socks.
Yeah,
I keep buying more.
I would love to know where socks disappear to in my house.
I've seen videos of the washer, and they literally have a little spot where sometimes they actually get stuck in there, and then you open up the back of it and you'll see a pile. I've never done that. I've just seen people doing that.
I wonder if if that's happened.
I wonder,
because I know that they can get stuck in that little rubber part. We have a front load, so ours kind of gets stuck in the little rubber part. But I wonder if that's a thing. So okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see what's in her.
I honestly need to stop holding on to all these miscellaneous socks. Because I literally have a whole basket of just socks that we need to do pairing. And my daughter only got like 5 pairs. And I'm like, there's literally nothing else that matches. No, nothing else matches. I'm going to throw everything away and start all over.
So,
but money.
And this is a shout out to anyone listening. If you have, say, miscellaneous socks, torn or tattered clothes or shoes, don't throw them away.
Turn them into rags.
Turn them into rags. Or there are, and I don't know if this is a nationwide thing, or if this is just a U.S. thing if you're not in the U.S. and you're listening to this. There is a green textile recycling bins. They're all over. If you're in the Midwest, you can find them at various locations, where you can put your old tattered things, instead of throwing them in the trash, put them in bags, and you can just dump them into this.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have to send you the link.
You'll have to send me the link, because I have a lot of miscellaneous
and
things.
I see them all over the place. We have one in Grimes that's next to like a swim school that I drop.
What is this? It's supposed to just recycle
it's a
these
textile.
things?
It's a textile recycling.
So instead of throwing away these things that could still be useful, but we just don't have any use for them because they're just...
Because normal recycling won't take textiles. So no shoes, no clothing.
No material.
Yeah. So that stuff just sits in landfills.
Sometimes recycling can't even take all the plastic stuff.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's irritating. But yeah, they're like giant, they almost look like giant postal boxes, but they're lime green. And
interesting. You'll have to send me a link to that, because that is, we're doing a lot of shout outs today. We don't usually do shout outs, so that's like awesome. So yeah, honestly, and in this case, because we kind of cover it all, we don't even really have to go into it more. The top person did say that, and good, I'm really glad. They said, "You're the a-hole. For nearly 20 years, you could have leaned to take 2 seconds, look at it yourself. This is a you problem, not him." Ooh. And then someone's like, "I'm honestly scratching my head and getting into the shower before the water goes on. Like, even if it's coming out of the tub faucet hot, the initial shower water will be cold. Plus, who wants to stand there naked and cold waiting for the water to heat?"
Right.
Like, facts. Like, I'm sounding like a Gen Z person right now.
Facts.
Sus.
Oh, side note, here it is. It's called the clothes bin. It's a clothes and shoes recycling bin. So if you see these around.
Yes. Honestly, I did not know that was around here.
So you just put your clothes, they have to be in a sealed, clothes and shoes in a sealed garbage bag, so nothing can open up in the bin. Mm-hmm. You just put your bag in that little ledge right there and lift the lid up, and it just falls. And there's someone that comes around and checks those.
I will have to look into that, because I feel so bad throwing away so many things that I just don't like to be wasteful.
Right.
But this is why my house looks like it is, because then I don't want to throw anything away.
If I could recycle everything, like
if I could recycle toys, then I wouldn't feel as bad if I couldn't find all the pieces to it that I couldn't give to like a Goodwill, but I can't keep here any longer.
Right.
I just, yeah, okay. We are really not getting to it. We're gonna try and do a couple more.
Okay. Sounds good.
This next one. Am I overreacting? So this is r/am I overreacting, which I do really like this subreddit, because there are some people that you're just like, oh, you're probably not, but
or you are, and you're trying to look for validation.
It's when people literally gaslight others, and they're like, oh, you're overreacting about this. You're overreacting, and you're just like, am I? Like, everyone's telling me I'm overreacting, and then they come to the internet, and we're all like, girl, no, you just they are crazy for telling you this.
Gaslighters are the worst.
Yeah. So it says, am I overreacting for crying after my mom told me to cover up while I was breastfeeding in my own house?
Okay, more context is needed, I guess.
Yeah. My son is 3 weeks old, and I'm still figuring out breastfeeding. It hasn't been easy, but we're getting there. My mom came over yesterday with my aunt and cousin. When the baby got fussy, I latched him while we were all in the living room. I had a light blanket over my shoulder, but it kept slipping, and honestly, I was more focused on the baby feeding than being perfectly modest. About 5 minutes in, my mom said, "You should really go upstairs or put something on. No one wants to see all that." Oh, I was mortified. My cousin looked away awkwardly, and I excused myself to the nursery. After they left, I broke down crying. I felt embarrassed and ashamed, even though I know I shouldn't be. I told her later that what she said hurt, and she just brushed it off with, well, I'm just being honest. Now she's saying I'm being sensitive and I'm trying to make her the villain. But I feel like I should be able to feed my baby in peace, especially in my own home. So, am I overreacting for getting upset over this?
Did she say if there were other people there?
Yes. So, my mom came over yesterday with my aunt and cousin. So, it's her family. It's not like it's her in-laws. It is her blood relatives.
Right. I would say,
and it's all girls. It's not like it's guys. It's aunt and cousin. And the cousin, she does say, my cousin looked away awkwardly. I would say it's a girl. I wouldn't say, I don't even think she would.
I would get it if you had like any males present. I get that. But honestly, if you're totally new to breastfeeding, you want to be in a space where maybe someone could step in and help you. I could see maybe
not the mom. She seems like a nightmare.
Clearly not.
She doesn't seem sympathetic at all.
If you had like if your husband could step in and help you, then once you got the hang of breastfeeding and it was no problem, then maybe just like, hey, if you guys are okay, with me like being out here, or I can go to the nursery and breastfeed. But honestly, like, it's
in our own home too.
Yeah,
that's what I see this both ways, because and I don't know if you breastfed your kids.
Short term, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I breastfed all of mine all the way over a year and everything. And I've been doing that since my first kid when I was 20.
Okay.
So I was 20. I was a new mom. And because I wasn't married yet, I was with my family a lot at home breastfeeding, because Justin was at his apartment and I was still living with my parents. And so then I had my older sister, my younger brother, my dad, and my first one was very colicky. So she constantly wanted to be fed. And I had to be very strict on a diet, I found out. Okay. But it was very much, whenever she get fussy, I'd just latch her on. Okay. And there'd be times where it'd be hard because I'd be off in a room for so long, for sometimes an hour, because it just depends on how long it would just to calm her down. And you feel very isolated sometimes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, that's so isolating.
When you're with family, and then sometimes, because I've always had this feeling too, when family comes over only to see the baby, and then you have to pull them away to go feed, and then you feel like they're, sometimes, you want to see them because it's like, oh, I'm going to be off this whole time. And sometimes when people like just up and leave while you're feeding the baby, you're just like, wait, didn't you want to say goodbye? And can you just wait a little bit? And sometimes that makes you feel like they're only there to see the baby and not you, which of course, yes, they are there to see the baby, but come on, you just did all this work to push this baby out for you to see, and you're not going to put any like love against you. And in this case, this is where, when it was becoming a lot where I had to feed the baby because we were having struggles. My mom, being a NICU nurse, so amazing. She was so amazing at helping me with breastfeeding and latching and helping me in all cases.
That's so
and
awesome.
She literally would just tell my dad and my brother, like, hey, can you leave the room for a minute? We're gonna try and latch on. And I didn't have a cover on yet, because I just, when you have that cover, you're like, the baby's either fussing and they're throwing the blanket off, or
you're exhausted, like to try to remember that. You just want the baby
to latch on, and you're like, I have to literally use both my arms to hold this baby, plus try and get a hand in there to put the boob in there, and that's where it's like, sometimes you're going to be indecent. Yeah. And in that case, when we were all watching something, I just literally went to the back of the room on the couch. Everyone went forward. They all knew I was breastfeeding. And sometimes I would try and have a cover so I'd be a little decent in case they got up. But it was just like, come on, just look the other way, be in the corner. I do understand, like, when I was with my in-laws, I would be in another room. Sure. But that was with, like, my first one, when I couldn't figure things out myself, or in the beginning, because you're trying to get that newborn to latch, and it does take a little bit. And when you have so much time you have to be with them, and they have to be in such a position, it is sometimes easier to be in an area you're comfortable with, and not having to have a hot blanket over them.
And here's the thing, like, they were coming into her house. Like, if they knew of, like, these breastfeeding problems beforehand. They should have been sensitive to that before coming over.
Yeah. See, I'm so back and forth with this because I do understand her struggle. And just, come on. It's your cousin or it's your niece, it's your daughter. You guys have all seen boobs before. Yeah. This is a beautiful thing. It's not like she's whipping it out for an explicit reasons. This is for a child to be fed.
And this is where our culture needs to change, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. We need to stop over-sexualizing things. We live in such a sex-saturated world that nothing can be said or done without there being some agenda or connotation attached to whatever the action or thing being said is.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing I have against this is that I understand in other places
absolutely.
They have wonderful covers now. Mm-hmm. The ones I had growing up, or not growing up, the ones I had for my first kid, things have changed a lot in 11 years. But the first ones I had were like this half hoop thing that they would just be like this cape. It'd be a nursing cape. But it was very finicky. And because it would just cover barely your breast area. And if the baby ever moved its arm, boom, you are exposed. They have these wonderful things now that are kind of like a shawl.
Yes, I've seen those.
And we've had them because they are multi-useful in like as a car seat cover, as like a kind of a thing to get a kid in a shopping carts, and that way they don't touch anything around them. You can kind of keep them in the hole where like the neck hole is. But the best thing is that they cover everything. They cover, and you can literally loop the blanket underneath the baby, so there is nothing going to be exposed. Yes. You have a big enough neck hole that you can get the air circulation for
and you
the
can
baby.
Even like peek in and see.
You can peek in. You are completely covered, and it is those. Wonderful. So people definitely look for those. It's just nursing. I want to say they're kind of like a shawl or something. They're out there. It's huge. I've had them for my last two babies. Things have really changed in the last 5 years because 10, 11 years ago, they did not have good options.
No, absolutely not.
So I will say, those are wonderful things. If you guys are questioning what it is and you want to reach out for more information, please email the Reddit Randos at gmail.com. I would love to share a link to you guys about that for those either new mothers or even current mothers that are nursing or would like that for the future if you are going to be nursing.
It's called a multifunctional nursing cover. So it has pictures here of, several things like what you're mentioning.
And it's big enough that you can use it for a kid well over a year.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because it covers, their legs can stick out, but their face and everything's covered. It just makes you feel more at peace when you're out in public. And the last couple times I used it was at my in-laws when I did it, and I was right there on the couch just nursing while I was still able to talk to them. They did not care at all. So a few times I've had to tell my nephews, they'd come up and be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I am feeding the baby with milk."
Yeah, because that's what you're doing.
With my milk.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll be natural, like, telling the mother, like, "Hey, I'm telling your kid this. You better, if they have any other questions, you better be prepared to answer any questions that they may have after this."
Yes, absolutely.
But I think the biggest thing is that this is your own house. Yeah. And I guess she could have asked, "Hey, I want to do this here because I still want to talk to you guys. Right, are you okay with that?" And if they really weren't, take it with a grain of salt and just, just know that those people, you need to maybe try and schedule your nursing, or don't even schedule around that. Do whatever's best for your baby, but just let them know, well, then I'm going to be in this room for a while. But the mom saying that just breaks my heart because my mom was anything but like that for when we needed a nurse. She was like, all supportive and anything she could do to make us comfortable.
Especially mothers to their daughters. That is such an important bond, especially in those first moments of...
And for the mom just to be like, we don't want to see all that.
My mom was totally fine with that. That just makes me
feel like I'm a disgusting person for just giving birth, and you don't feel... you don't feel pretty at all after you... I mean, you feel the glow of this baby and everything, but when you come home, you still have a tummy, this big bulging tummy with what baby came out of that makes you look pregnant. You feel all gloopy inside because there is still stuff coming out of you. I know I'm being a little TMI right here, but I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. And I'm sorry, birth is a beautiful thing, but
absolutely.
Yeah, you sometimes need a little reassurance and love and that, the confidence from other people to kind of boost you up saying, oh, wow, Mom, you did a great job. You look wonderful. Mm-hmm. And what can I do to make you feel better? Can I get you a pillow to sit on or something like that?
So many people.
I don't think this mom is that person at all.
Right. And so many people like this mom, like you were saying, come to see the baby, but we need to start. And I think our generation will be more conscious of that when younger generations start having kids, and our kids are in the phase of life where they start having children. We need to check in on moms and dads too, but moms especially, because seeing the baby is exciting and beautiful and wonderful, but I'm not saying that all moms are like this, because I'm thankful that mine wasn't like that, and she totally didn't care how I breastfed, or I think she liked to kind of be involved in that moment, because my mom didn't get to share those moments with me personally because I was born so early. But I mean, I think we just need to breed a culture where we're being mindful of those things, and
we need to make it more of a thing where when they come over and they say, we want to see the baby, it's not just we want to see the baby. We want to come over and help you adjust to being a new mother.
Right.
We want to help you. We don't want to just have you host as soon as you have a baby.
Yeah. Or the first question should be when you walk in the door is, how are you? How are you doing? Right? How are you? And then ask about baby, or, hey, is it okay if I hold a baby? And personally, when it comes to friends and our family, I don't ask to hold babies until I'm offered, hey, would you like to hold a baby? Just out of respect for mom and respect for the parents' boundaries and what rules they have set in place. Because I feel like that, if I come in with this presumptuous, I'm gonna, I'm the best friend, so I just have that right. No, I want to be kind and respectful and not damage any friendships or relationships.
Kind of I know your whole purpose of wanting to come over was to see the baby, but don't come off like that.
Right.
Literally. Right. Yes, they are new, even if they're not a new mom. Come on, they just had a baby. They just came home. And there should be a rule where you shouldn't host or accept guests the first, the day you come home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which has happened to me. One day we literally just came home and people, we were just in town. Can we come over? And you're just
my.
And I think because after my third kid, we were a little bit, either we had more of a backbone to tell people no, or we were more okay with it because we couldn't care less anymore. Right. This is our third kid, but I definitely wish the things I learned, the confidence I had to tell people no after my second and third kid, I wish I had it for my first.
Yeah.
And I was this little 20-year-old having a kid, and it was we weren't married. We had a baby out of wedlock. And the circumstances were very different amongst family, because I grew up in a Christian home. My husband grew up in a Christian home, and here we were doing the deed before marriage. And because of that, a lot of things were kind of thrown where I felt very ashamed. Yeah. And obviously what I did not want to do. I wish I did change things how I did, but it's the way people made me feel. Yeah. It just was awful. And it always goes harder on the woman than it does on the man. Yeah. The man just, look at him. He's a great dad. Look at what he's doing. He's there getting involved with his kid. But here I am, the village wench. And no, I'm kidding. I'm just saying, here I am. I'm trying to sometimes be like, oh no, I need to do this. Oh no, you don't need to do that yet. She's still okay, as she's bawling and crying. And I think I need to feed her now. No, I'm just I'm the mom. Shouldn't they be like, oh, okay. And no, there's just sometimes there are things I wish I was more strict on.
Yeah. Just, you don't know what you don't know. In hindsight is 2020. And
it wasn't Or just being like strict on like there are things I didn't want my child to be introduced to yet until I was ready for. And there are sometimes people that just don't understand respecting other people's wishes or their rules.
And just think, like, if, you sometimes wish you could have gone back and done it a different way, but, you wouldn't have the children that you have.
Exactly.
So, the Lord uses all things for
like I
His
said,
glory and good.
We all go through life experiences and we learn from them. And without having those experiences, we wouldn't learn how to do things today. Like, we wouldn't be able to know. If we always had everything done perfectly the way we wanted, we'd never learn how things could have, been wrong. In that case, if everything was perfect,
there's no growth in perfection.
There's no growth. There's no, if everything was perfect, there wouldn't be any growth or any, learning and everything.
There'd be no
boring people or dumb people.
And there'd be no striving for anything better because everything's at peak level.
There would be no trying to improve ourselves in our life and trying to do better, because if everything was always just done
this is why life is messy.
This is why life is messy.
Messy is beautiful.
Like this next story.
All right. Good segue.
I was going to throw that in. All right, this will be our last story because, guys, we have gone way longer than we usually do, but you are in for a treat because if this is what we're going to do regularly, hopefully, you're going to get these special treats with Molly and I with these lovely, inner stories.
I'm here for it.
Right here. So this is, and I love this subreddit too, but this is r/relationship advice, which is a lot of things people throw out there, and so there's no a-holes, no that thing here. A lot of people do get mixed up later. They're like, oh no, they're not an a-hole. Well, they didn't ask if they were an a-hole. They just were asking for advice.
Right.
There are things where they're either like, it's true off my chest. So they're not asking for anything. They're just literally telling us
no extra input needed.
Yeah. So this is, my ex-boyfriend left me for my best friend, and now they want me to be part of their wedding party. Any advice?
Ooh.
This is just the title. So, all right, let's
dive into the context.
Okay, so she's 25, female. He's 27, and then her best friend's also 25. So 3 years ago, Josh, my boyfriend of about 1.5 years, broke up with me because he had feelings for Anna, my best friend. We hung out a lot, and they said that they eventually developed feelings for one another. They admitted that Josh had been cheating on me. They made a fool out of me. They made me think that everything was okay when it really was not. If they admitted it all at that time, I would have tried to be understanding and tried to support them, but they chose to lie. So I cut them both off. I focused on school and found a job with a good income. Josh and Anna tried to reach out to me at first, telling me that they still wanted to be friends, but I blocked them. Now, I am living in the town next to our hometown. I got a wonderful job opportunity, so I moved. But I liked that I was still close enough to visiting my parents and other relatives. About a month ago, I heard about their wedding from a common friend. It didn't really bother me anymore, so I just went on with my life. A week ago, I received a message from Anna telling me that she and Josh were getting married and that they would like me to be a part of their wedding party. I replied, "Congratulations, no thank you." I had no feelings for Josh anymore, and I'm even seeing someone else, but I don't want to celebrate the wedding of two people who betrayed me. They were insistent. Josh also messaged me via a different number. Some of my friends also tried to convince me to come to the wedding. I firmly said no. Even my mom called me asking if I was going, and when I said no, she sounded disappointed, but she didn't push it. This is all just quite weird to me. Why would you want your ex-girlfriend, ex-best friend, the girl you cheated on, to be part of your wedding party? The day before yesterday, Anna's parents called me, telling me that they missed me and really hope I could go to the wedding. I firmly said that I would not be going. Her mom berated me, saying that I should let bygones be bygones and that I should be happy for her daughter. I asked her if I cheated with Anna's boyfriend and then invited her to the wedding. Would she convince Anna to go? She had no answer to this, and I hung up. This is quite getting out of hand because I'm receiving more than 20 to 30 calls and texts a day from their friends and family about this wedding. Any advice on how to handle this? Also, any insights on why they would want me to go to their wedding? I don't think it's normal that they are very insistent.
I think she needs to at least respond back to one of them and really find out the reason why. Why is it so important that she's there?
Yeah, why is everyone reaching out to her to be a part of this wedding?
So, like, pick one person that would really have an answer as to why they want her there.
Mm-hmm. That just seems so weird. Like, even her own mom.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, don't you know what the heartbreak I went through all this with my boyfriend and best friend?
It's not like they ended the relationship and then he started a brand, like, say, for instance, there was no cheating or anything involved. I think maybe it would have been handled a little bit differently, but it still would have hurt versus what happened to her.
Right.
She was blatantly cheated on.
Right. And like she said, if they would have just told her that, hey, we've been having feelings for each other, and I think I'm becoming more attached to this person than you, and I'm sorry. And she says, she's like, I could have tried understanding this way more than how they went about it, because they chose to lie about it behind my back, and I found out.
This sounds like an episode of One Tree Hill.
You know what? I have not ever watched One Tree Hill.
Girl, I have watched that. Okay. I am on season 6 right now.
I've heard of One Tree Hill.
Oh, it's my favorite
and
show
I've heard
ever.
it very much from a lot of people. So what's it on?
So I've been able to access it through Disney Plus. We have Hulu linked to our Disney Plus. Okay. So that's why I'm able to watch it. But if you have...
No, my parents have Hulu Plus, which I can do it on my phone. I can't do it on the TV, but I can do it on my phone.
So, yeah, this definitely sounds like an episode of One Tree Hill.
Okay, you got me hooked on my next show.
Please watch it before we, do another podcast.
We need to talk about... I'm sorry. Right now, I'm currently watching Love Island USA Season 7.
I've never watched that show.
See, that's another thing. And I will say, like I was telling the last, I don't know if it was the last episode, but it was like, I've never been into reality TV shows. Yeah. Never. I probably would get into One Tree Hill. I've just never been introduced to it.
It's like very similar to like the OC. I was never really into that one, but...
and I don't know what the OC is either.
Did you ever hear of like Laguna Beach or anything like that? Any of those?
I must not be on the same wavelengths as you on shows.
When they were on TV, you probably would have been in like
I was definitely. I remember high. One Tree Hill being like on the TV and showing it.
What was it?
But my parents, we all grew up watching old like Cosby shows, and Psych. We watched a lot of Psych.
Oh, Psych, yeah.
Gotta love Psych.
Yeah. So to wrangle it back, what is she like wanting to know? Like if.
Basically, she just asked any advice on how to handle this. So you just said, find one friend who maybe would be able to know this information and get that information on why they're wanting her to be a part of this wedding. The next thing was any insights on why they'd want to. So again, maybe find a friend. Mm-hmm. And she's asking other people. So let me see if anyone didn't edit this. They said, tell everyone involved to get effed. Oh. Yeah, that's Reddit for you right there. That's the raw edit right there. Someone said, OP should just post on social media publicly and something along the lines of, I will not be attending ex-boyfriend and ex-best friend's wedding. The reason for this is, basically the reason of what happened. I wish the happy couple all the best, but do not wish to be part of this. Do you really want to be public?
I don't know.
The thing is about people, when they say I post something on social media, it just gets really messy.
Yeah. I think...
Because now you're involving people who didn't want to be involved.
Yeah, keep this... they've already posted to a public platform, but I guess you get very, very unwanted and unnecessary comments if you post to
attention too.
Facebook.
Now you're going to get unwanted attention for more people being dragged into this.
Exactly.
So...
I think she just needs to sit down and have a really open conversation with the both of them and then just ask them, why do you want me there?
Yeah, a lot of people are just like, do this and then ghost them or block everyone. And I'm just like...
I think she needs to figure out why, and then maybe...
They're just going to keep calling her.
And then within that conversation, have some closure. Like, I wish you both the best.
You need to relay this message to this person and really tell them, I congratulate them.
Yeah.
But because of all the heartache it caused me, I don't want to be a Debbie, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, and I'm just going to walk away from this friendship and this past relationship and be on my way and be happy in my life.
So there's an edit.
Okay.
She says, "Hi, thank you so much for all the advice. I didn't think this would get so much attention. I just want to clarify a few things that I read about in the comments, though I am very sorry that I have not read all of them. First of all, my mom is not going to the wedding, but I think she wants to go. That's why she was asking me if I was going. I'm going to talk to her after work."
That's very odd.
That is very odd.
I wonder if she had like some sort of...
This is childhood best friend.
So
and it's a small town, I'm guessing. So I'm guessing everyone knows about everything.
Yeah.
And that's what she was saying. She moved away after she broke up. They broke up and everything. And then she had a job opportunity, which was kind of back close to home. So all of a sudden, she's back into town or close to home. So people are talking. Anna messaged me with a different number. Oh, how do people get all these different numbers?
All these burner phones.
Seriously. It's just like, come on, phones aren't cheap. Like, you really wasting money just to text someone that probably will block you again? Like, this is weird. I don't know how she got my number. Also, my hometown is a small town. I called it. And most of our friends did know that I was cheated on. That's why this seems so weird to me. I did block the people who were very insistent, including the new numbers of Anna, Josh, and Anna's mom. Also, I keep blocking the people that text me about the wedding, but new numbers just keep popping up, which makes it more weird that people are actually making an effort to get new numbers just so I would attend an ex's wedding. I'm going to talk to a close friend who still lives in my hometown. She hates Anna for what she did to me, and she may know what's going on. That's all for now. Thank you all so much for all the advice and the comments and the messages. Oh, that's it. I want to see if they have an update.
Yeah, we need to hear the update of like how everything went down.
No, this was like 8 months ago, and there's still no update. So I would say maybe eventually she just didn't ever respond, and they got the clue. I want to see if she's commented on anything. No, she never commented on anything. So
if you guys know this Reddit, the subreddit, please let us know.
Yeah, if she ever does an update, send it our way. Message me, and let me know, because this is just ridiculous that it's been 8 months and we haven't heard anything. So obviously the wedding's probably already happened. Maybe, unless it's like a year out. I don't know how people can wait like 2.
Or maybe they didn't get married at all.
Ooh, maybe not.
Scandalous.
I wonder if because they were so all three involved in each other's lives, they're feeling guilty.
Could be.
And they just feel like it's not right if she's not here with us. But I mean, come on, the way everything left, read the room. She doesn't want to be there.
Right.
She loved this person first, and then you guys just went behind her back.
I seriously think, like, if the friend and her mom wanted to go, fine, but just leave her out of it. Like, it's her own choice. She's a grown woman.
You got your answer. Stop pushing her. You're just making this worse between now you and her.
And the wedding is not just about the guests. It's about, the reason why you're together and celebrating your,
and what is it the saying
your union.
You lose them how you got them.
Ooh, I've never heard that before.
So I've heard this many times on Reddit.
Oh.
You lose them how you get them.
Okay.
So in that case, you lose them the same way how you got them. So if you guys were cheating when you guys were getting in a relationship, there's a good chance that relationship won't last, because you'll probably lose them with either one of you cheating.
Once a cheater, always a cheater.
That is very debatable to a lot of people.
Yes.
There are some... depends on how they change after that.
That's
if they grow from that, knowing, hey, this was wrong, I'm growing from this, I am going to work on this, then I honestly think the mindset they have and the way they act, not even act, but you just can tell a difference between knowing they made a mistake.
Yeah.
Compared to those who honestly don't give a crap about what they did.
I should say, once a cheater, always a temptation. And I mean, because like,
you always have those thoughts.
Yes, there's always, even if you've like completely turned your life around and you've done some like really good work on yourself, and you've done the necessary steps to overcome that, the temptation will always be there because you remember the thrill that brought you.
Yeah. And honestly, half the things I always read on, there's like a good marriage going on, and then somehow they find out that either the husband or wife, either one, have been having an affair.
Yeah.
And then literally it's like the whole reason is why, if you were already wanting, if you were already not like falling out of love with this person and you're loving this other person, like you're knowing you're going to cheat and hurt this person, why are you still in this relationship?
Right.
And just
leave.
Exactly. Just leave. But I honestly think it's because of the thrill and the adrenaline it kind of puts into that relationship. And then honestly, that's where a lot of times people I hear having affairs, and then they end up breaking that whatever relationship they have, going off with their affair, and they're with that partner or person, end up not being anywhere near as good because that thrill's gone. Now you're together, there's no one in your way, and the fire, kind of the spark, all that,
because there was nothing
hiding
there
and sneaking around.
Right. There was nothing there, there was nothing there to be built on.
No.
Like, that relationship was built on nothing.
It was like from
Except
0
for
to
lust.
10 all of a sudden in that relationship, because you had to be jumping that far just to jump around from people catching you.
Right.
And now that you guys are at a steady pace where you guys can slow down, it's not fun, you know? Then you realize what you had before was perfectly fine, but
you just needed to rediscover the spark in your marriage, and
and that's the many things,
do
when
new
people
things,
we just don't have, like, the bedroom's not active as much anymore, or they just don't think of me as much anymore. I'm like, I hate it when people, there's like therapy for everything.
Oh,
literally.
absolutely.
There's
Absolutely.
even sex therapy. So honestly, I know people kind of like get all like all jumpy about that, or their pride hits them thinking like, I don't need people to help me with that. Honestly, it's not all about how you have sex. It's sometimes how you create that, like you said, that spark back into, wanting to be around each other and playing with each other and joking and then having that like flirtiness again.
It starts outside the bedroom. And
then starts outside the bedroom. That's good.
It starts outside the bedroom.
Yes.
Yeah. There's I'm going to promote another podcast. They are on Instagram. If you are a believer, I would recommend checking them out. If you're not, still check them out. It's called Kingdom Sexuality, and it proposes a stance on sexuality from a biblical perspective, but still being open and honest, because these are conversations. I think, and I'm going to speak from just specifically in a Christian marriage where it's not talked about enough. I know there is a time and a place within the church to talk about things like that. Right. It definitely should be like women to women, men to men. Definitely not something, unless you're like going in as a husband and wife into counseling. But that's a great resource. They have a podcast and they do things on
You'll have to send me
Instagram.
That too, and I'll link it to this. All the things that we mentioned and shout it out, I will be linking it to this episode, so you guys can also take a look at these little like awesome things we brought out into this episode. Like we did shout outs, like we never do shout outs, so I need to do those more often. I just never thought of it because it never came up. And man, Mollie's like an expert. This is why when you got so like curious of what I was going to do when I said I was going to do a podcast, I knew that we needed to get you in. So girl, we need to get you in here more.
I love it.
Like this is fun. We like went probably way longer than you needed to be here for, but this is probably my longest episode ever, because every time I'm like, we could always go longer, and Justin's like, that's way too long. I'm like, no, people love hearing about this stuff. People love this, love the conversation.
And if you guys know of anything that we've mentioned before or that Becca is going to post, tag those people.
Yeah.
Tag them, because we want to get their attention too, and we want them to know that we're promoting the awesome work that they're doing. So
exactly. So that, I'm so sorry, guys. We didn't get to as many stories. We will work on that because this is my first time with Mollie on here, and I was just so giddy. Like, I'm just like, I couldn't I was kind of like getting nervous about this. Yes, really? Because I was like nervous, excited. Yeah. Because it was just like, this is so different, someone new. And oh my goodness, I love this. I love this. And this is making me excited to have you on more and to try and finally reach out to other people to maybe have them on. So it's just so great. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yes, this is exactly what I envisioned too, because I've seen so many like podcasts and heard so many podcasts. And like, I live for the conversation, the relative.
I literally pause what I'm listening to explain my point of view to the person. And this is where I'm like, I need this to happen with people more. Like, we need to talk about things where we see things happening, we explain things, and then I want you, my fellow people out there who are listening to this, like, I want to hear if you are also one of those people that pause literally during a mid podcast going on episode, and you're literally trying to like, no, they need to do this, or explain your reasoning or what's crazy about something, because I am one of those people. And this is exactly why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to get more of a reaction of what other people think about things. What is your point of view on things? What is your belief, or I guess just like, what are our morals about these stories? Like, are we really going to be our human stance and be petty about things, or are we going to be, I get it, the bigger person? Not everyone wants to always be the bigger person.
So hard.
But come on. This is why we say this stuff, because our life, we love living through other drama, not through it ourselves. But we do want to be helpful so people out there, the like OPs out there that we're reading the stories from. If you ever do have, like, please listen to people like listening, or people shout out to those people who we're telling their stories of, and have them listen, because every point of view is different, but definitely.
And every perspective is important too. I mean, we're all created differently, and we all see the world differently. Yes. And we all approach life differently. So that's the beauty of people and relationships and friendships.
We're all human. Yes. We all make mistakes, but we're all here to be a community together. Absolutely. And the Reddit community can be very beautiful. It can definitely help people out, and it can actually bring out more people to reach out to others to help those who need it. So this is why I love this. I love listening to things that I never have to go through myself, hopefully. But I definitely do, things that we never think of life that could happen do happen. And people like today are going through that issue now. And that's where sometimes I always think, why are people posting this on the internet? It probably could be.
This is why.
This is why they don't have that support, that community at their own place. They are thinking that people are, they're being told that they're overreacting, when they really know in their heart that I don't think I am. And that's why sometimes, I know it's really weird how we always grew up saying, don't believe everything the internet tells you. But sometimes there are people that can reach out a lot more and help you through the internet. So that is why this is so great to have this. So okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up. But if you guys ever have any stories, comments, anything of your own that you've gone through, and you want to let us know, I'd be more than happy to read those stories. And we can always talk about it through email or text ourselves. So you can always email us at theredditrandos@gmail.com. And subscribe, anything that we have. I'm working on social media sites right now. It's really slow going because I got that 40-hour job that is just breaking my back.
That darn job.
That darn job. Come on, guys, get through here. Push the like, so I can do this. I can focus on this more, because I want to be here more for you guys. So, but anyways, thank you, Mollie.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm so happy. So we're going to plan this again. So if you guys like Mollie, if you really like her, please put a comment down. Message that we want to have her on more, because I definitely do.
Oh, yes. I'd love to come back.
All right. So, okay, until next time, guys. Bye.